Good morning. Doug here from the Hundredfold Journey. Thanks again for joining us on this Sundays with Doug, where we come alongside of you and help you on your journey, whether it's rewiring your brain, building new habits, or creating a new identity. Because a hundredfold is about a group of people who are looking to find their true identity, and by doing so, finding God's true identity. So thanks for joining us this Sunday as we embark on this journey. We are continuing in our series called We Have the Mind of Christ. 1 Corinthians 2:16 tells us that we actually have the mind of Christ. So the thoughts, the knowledge, because of the Holy Spirit that's in us, He's guiding us, He's directing us. But what does that look like? What's the practical application for that in our lives? What does that truly mean to have the mind of Christ? And that's what we're doing each and every Sunday. We're looking at exactly what that means and what it looks like and how we apply that in our lives. And the way that starts is just having the thoughts of Christ and the thoughts that He would have. And I truly believe that these 10 truths are the thoughts that Christ had while He was here on earth, that everything that His hand touched prospered, and that He had an attitude of gratitude. Each week we talk about memorizing, applying, and meditating on these 10 truths. And with that said, for those that are online, can you maybe share an occasion where these 10 truths showed themselves to you? So I'll give you a minute here to speak up and share something that you encountered in the last week or so. Who would like to start?
Well, I have one. So I talked a little bit about what we went through in the summer with our car and not
Right.
having it for a while, and it ended up working out. But I saw an ad for lawyers who work with lemon law cars, and like seeing if the car is a lemon really, and suing the manufacturer for that.
Mhm.
And so I started working with a lawyer, and I don't know how it's going to end up. I mean, so far it looks really positive, and he's been like reviewing our documents. And if we could win this case, our loan would get paid off with an additional, like they give you an additional like lump sum or something, depending on what you qualify for. So I
Yeah.
don't know yet, but it just, to me, it's, I have unlimited possibilities and resources
Right.
because, you know, when I talked to him, he's like, oh my gosh, you went through all that. And like, I
Mm,
can't believe it. I mean, that was a lot, just not having your car for 2.5 months. He said,
right.
based on that, it sounds like it's a lemon. So, I mean, it's possible that nothing will happen, but I think just keeping your eye out and just always like looking for resources really,
Yeah.
and they'll come to you if you're looking.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And I like how you said, it just so happened, right? That you were looking, then all of a sudden this, whether it was an ad or an email or something that came to your attention. And we've talked about the reticular activating system, right? That when you start to think about thoughts, I wonder, my car or whatever, then all of a sudden it appears and you're now able to see it. You probably saw hundreds of ads before about, maybe lemon laws or lawyers or whatever, but it wasn't until it was activated that you actually saw it. But I like your point, right? I have unlimited possibilities and resources, that there's a resource that you weren't even aware of, and then all of a sudden it appeared.
So I got one.
Okay.
Um, this is more kind of a materialistic thing, but I think it kind of ties in what we were talking about money. Last week, I really wanted to play a certain game with my best friend Malachi online, and it's called Call of Duty
Yeah.
3, and it's a very hard game to get. And on my PS4, I could download it, but it would charge me $70
Mm.
for the game. And I was
Yeah.
like, I can't afford that but I really want to play.
Yeah.
So I called around and I called GameStop, and they had one left, and it was in the store all the way in Roner Park. They had one Call of Duty disc left,
Yeah.
and they were selling it for $19.
No way. Wow.
And so I looked and I said, okay, I can afford that. And so I went and I got the game.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh no, my buddy Malachi, he can't talk online because he doesn't have a microphone set.
Yeah.
So I ended up just giving him my microphone set, which I've had it for a few years. And I was like, okay, well, I can't afford these $50-$60 headphones. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking online on Facebook Marketplace, and I see a pair of headsets, brand new, that are usually $70, and I was
Yeah.
able to get them for $10. So I know it's materialistic, and I
Yeah.
don't really like to use my hundredfold in a materialistic way, but it just is crazy how that I was stressing about paying, probably going to pay $120 for that whole setup just to
Right.
have that.
Right.
And I ended up paying, $30.
$30.
So for me, that I think that hundredfold is, God has granted me in the side of, in the side of those around me. I mean, I truly believe that, and I believe that He knows a desire of mine. I wanted to play this with a friend, and He saw that desire in my heart, or I saw that desire in my heart, and decided to project that and feel that. And
Mhm.
but the weird part about it is I got that even though I doubted a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part of spirituality, in my opinion, is that sometimes you can think negative and still get it.
Yeah.
So you might as well just think positive anyways. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yes.
So that's my one for the week.
Oh, very cool. And that list, there's quite a few other ones, right? All my needs
Yeah.
are constantly met.
Right.
You were in the right place at the right time to be able to get that last disc, and then
Yeah.
to be able to find that headset that was online.
For $10, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
it also went into, like I get that trait from my mother. And like that's one thing I'm really thankful for, is that I get that bargaining thing from my mom. Like I don't always settle for the most expensive thing. I try to weigh out as far as I can, like to see that. I think that's a godly gift, in my opinion, because you're not wasting all your money on something that you could have got it cheaper.
yeah, for
Not saying
sure.
that's, it's all about that, but it sure comes in handy in the mindset way.
It does. It does for sure. All right, guys. Well, thanks for sharing. Let's go ahead and move on. Again, talking about the understanding of what it means to have the mind of Christ. And for my life, what has allowed me to understand that I do have the mind of Christ, but how that plays out in my life is I created this circle, which represents a continuous cycle that I've been in for many, many years. But it all started with gratitude. So we have to understand, what we're grateful for, having an attitude of gratitude. Once we understand that, then it moves into identity. Then I understand who I am, the way God created me, which then causes me to want to meditate and to pray and to go inward. And then I find that I'm using my imagination, because God is telling me that I'm a co-creator, and I can actually do things like what you guys just described in the 10 truths, that you're co-creating with God. And that all encompasses the mind of Christ. And the more you see that you're able to do that, which causes more gratitude, and then the circle just continues on. So this is what it looks like to have the mind of Christ, is have these 5 elements in our life. And that helps us to understand the mind that we have been given. So we're part of this transformational toolkit, and the toolkits that we're looking at right now is using our imagination and using our ability to co-create. And so we're giving you the tools of what that looks like. And one of the tools that we talk about, that we learned about, is the Reticular Activating System. And what this is, it's the filter system that is in our brain, it's in our mind. And the reason why it's required is because the amount of thoughts and thoughts that we have in our mind every day, it's basically 30 gigs of data that is basically seen every single day. And if we were to look at all of that and take it in, our minds would basically, they would explode. So what the way God has designed us is he's put this filtering system in our minds so that we're only focused on the things that we view as important. And an illustration that I like to use is like I'm interested in buying a car, and the car that I'm interested in is like a Mini Cooper, a blue Mini Cooper. Then all of a sudden, blue Mini Coopers pop up everywhere. They were there before, but we didn't see them because we did not activate our reticular activating system. So we get to choose those things that we get to choose the filter that we want our mind, our brains to be looking for. So we get to create that. And the way we're doing that now, and each week, if you have been following us, is we're creating smarter goals. And these are specific goals. We're calling them vision statements about what we want in particular areas of our life. And we'll cover that in just a minute. But being a co-creator with God means we get to choose the what, and God chooses the how and the when. So we're co-creating, right? So when we choose the what, then we can just sit back and relax and come from a state of rest. And then all the details of the how and the when God provides for us. So you can see the co-creation as it starts. We don't have to worry about how, we don't have to worry about when. And I use the word worry. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but we're concerned about the what. What do I really want? And in the case with the game, you called out the what, and the how and the when revealed itself. And because we've programmed our reticular activating system to look for that, all of a sudden we found these deals, if you will, that came into our awareness. So that's how that works. So these are the vision statements. These are us being the CEO of our life. We're identifying the things that we want regarding money, health, work, job, friends, etc. So what we're doing is we're calling out the what for each of these categories, and we're calling them vision statements. All right. But how does God reveal this to us? How does that all work? And we're gonna watch a video here that I'd like to share with you guys. And let me do this, and you guys can watch this, and then we'll talk about this briefly afterwards.
Was in Alaska doing a lawsuit. We're way out in the Aleutian Islands, getting ready to leave, and was in Alaska doing a lawsuit. We're way out in the Aleutian Islands, getting ready to leave and go back to Anchorage and then home. And I had a ticket in my pocket to get on an airplane. A pastor came up and he said, "Listen, I can save you money." I said, "How's that?" He said, "I flew a small airplane up here. And I fly a small airplane, and I can take you in my little airplane and you can save your ticket." And this did not sound, I said, "Chief, thank you so very, very much. But I've got this ticket. We'll just make our way on home, me and this other lawyer with me." He said, "No, you gotta do it, you gotta do it." And against every better judgment I had, I said, "Okay." Well, we went out to the airport, took us by his little plane, and I looked at it, and I thought, well, one good thing, it's shiny. Then he walked around it. We got in. He's on the left front. I'm on the right front. The other lawyer's sitting right behind me. And he started it up. And it started up just fine. Well, we taxied out. I said, "Should we pray?" He said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. We normally don't." I said, "Well, this time we're gonna." And I'm telling you, I prayed 8 minutes. I prayed a long time. We went and got on the runway. He starts down the runway. The plane lifted off ever so gently, and we start climbing, and it's wonderful. Not a problem in the world. We started climbing, and we flew probably 3-4 minutes, and something happened that will never leave my mind. The pilot turned to me and he said, "We're going in the clouds, and I can't fly in clouds. They make me pass out." I said, "Clouds make you do what?" Now, it's been cloudy all day, and we go right up into the clouds, and you can't see anything. And he looks at me, and his eyes roll back in his head, and he starts mumbling, and he passes out. Passed out cold. Now, I grabbed him, and I shook him, and I said, "Come on, you gotta wake up so I can kill you." Now, we're in the clouds, flying along with no pilot. And my friend in the back seat said, "We're dead, aren't we?" I said, "There's a very good chance of that, yes." He said, "What are we gonna do?" I said, "I don't know." But there was a radio right there, and I handed him the microphone, and I said, "Start asking for help." So he's in the back seat reaching up, and he said, "Hello, hello." We didn't know any proper radio etiquette. All we were saying was hello. And somebody answered back, "Hello, hello. Don't you guys know proper radio etiquette?" And I said, "Give it to me." I said, "Tell them we don't know nothing. Tell them we're in an airplane with a passed out pilot, and we don't know how to fly this plane." The guy said, "I'm a freighter flying out of Anchorage on the way to Tokyo." And he said, "You're telling me you have nobody who can fly that plane with you?" I said, "Tell them that's correct." Now, you gotta understand, I am sweating bullets. He said, "The first thing I'm gonna do is start circling so I don't lose you, because I'll fly out of range of your radio and you won't have me anymore." And he said, "I'm going to get Anchorage Emergency for you. And Anchorage Emergency will be the people that can maybe help you. Try to save your life." After about 5 minutes, Anchorage came on, said, "We understand you have a passed out pilot, and those of you do not know how to fly that plane." We said, "That's right." They said, "Well, the first thing we got to do is find you." And I'll never forget what this man at Anchorage said. He said, "My job is to get you home safe." He said, "That's my job." But he said, "Here's the deal. If you want me to get you home safe, you got to promise me you'll obey my voice." He said, "You can't see me, but I can see you." And he said, "If you're not going to obey my voice, you're going to die." When you can't see anything, you have no idea how disorientated you become. Finally, he said, "Okay, I found you. Now hear me clear." He said, "You're 4 minutes from a mountain." He said, "You're going to crash in that mountain and die. Follow my voice." I never said, "I have to follow your voice." Is that reasonable? You see, I understood without his voice, I had nothing. And do you understand? Without God's voice, you have nothing. Nothing. Finally, he got us turned. And he said, "I'm freezing all the traffic in the area." He said, "It's going to take me an hour and a half to get you to Anchorage, and there's a lot of weather between you and Anchorage. You're in for a rough ride." And he said, "I want you to hear me. I don't want you to look at what's going on outside. I don't want you to pay attention to the storm, just my voice." He said, "If you start watching the storm, you will die. But I'll take you through it." Now, because they cleared all the traffic, several pilots, those nighttime freighters, those 747s, started talking to us. They said, "We're praying for you, men. You're going to make it. But listen to the voice. That's the key." They said, "Trust the voice." You realize your head is full of voices, and everybody in this world wants to talk to you, and everybody wants to be the controlling voice. And God says, "I want you to be a living sacrifice. I want you to put yourself on the altar and let my voice be your voice." Finally, we went through the worst of the weather, but there was still more. And then the voice came back and it said, "Now, I'm going to line you up." He said, "I'm going to bring you in right down the runway. And at the foot of the runway are some lights, and they're in the form of a cross." He said, "Don't you forget this. The cross is the way home." Finally, he's bringing us down. We still can't see anything. And all he kept saying is, "Stay with me. My sheep," the Bible says, "hear my voice and they follow me." Finally, just a couple 100 feet off the ground, we saw the cross. I landed the plane. In fact, I landed it 7 times. Finally, it all came to a stop, and the minute we stopped, the pilot woke up. The voice said, "Thanks for listening. I watch them crash and burn all the time because they won't follow my voice. They don't understand I'm the one who can see them even when they can't see me. But they get the voices in their head and they kill themselves. They self-destruct. Thanks for listening to the voice. Then they put us in a motel room and about 4 in the morning. They knock at my door. I opened the door and a man was standing there. He said, "Hello, David." I said, "You're the voice. You're the one who got me home." He said, "I am." Do you understand one day you're going to stand before him and say, "You were the voice. You're the voice that brought me home." If you're not on that altar as a living sacrifice, your head's full of voices. And then we wonder why kids crash and burn. We wonder why marriages are shattered. And the Lord's saying, I'm the one who has the voice. All I can remember is that voice saying, "Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't listen to what's going on in your head and don't watch the storm. Stay with me. And I'll take you through." Tonight you have a God who has promised to take you through. A living sacrifice, holy.
All right. Pretty powerful, huh?
That was really good.
So that's the voice, right? We're not following our voice or the voices of others, but the voice of God. And he's guiding us, he's directing us, he's in the midst with us, he's right here. There is no separation. So that's the mind of Christ, is listening to the voice. And in fact, Jesus, when he was here, Jesus being our example, he said that he only did what he saw the Father do, and he only he only spoke what he heard from the Father. So that's us. All right. So guys,
Was in Alaska.
Sorry. Page down. So here are the things that we've been working on in regards to our vision statements. And Michael, Jeremy, and Rachel, we have yours down. What we're going to work on today is your work and your job. So unless you guys have, in fact, let me back up for just a second. Has anything developed for anyone regarding money and or health as it relates to your vision statement? Has anything developed over the last couple of weeks since we met last in regards to health or money?
Oh, babe.
No.
Okay. All right. So let's move to move to our money mindset. So guys, if because this is going off of the worksheet, right? We had the worksheet that we created, and have you done anything in regards to work or job vision statements? And if you have, share it, and if not, then let's develop it right here on the spot. So who would like to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I think the first one of the current mindset was I don't get paid enough. I think the new mindset is I do get paid enough.
All right. So what would be your vision statement for your work or your job? What would you like that statement to be? What would you like from?
I would like my job to increase its value over time, or my business increase its value over time. I say the next 2 years, I'd like to see it increase at least 50%.
just focus on your food. Look at how much Haley's already ate.
Okay. So something like that. My business
Yep.
increases
Over
over
time.
time, and over the next 2 years will increase by 50%.
Yep.
Cool. I like that. All right. Jeremy, how about you?
So currently my work or job is that I'm not satisfied with my workload, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot more work that I can be doing personally. What I want my new mindset to be is that the work that I do obtain, let me see. Trying to figure out how to word this the right way. Sorry, brainstorming.
Yeah, that's all right. And while Jeremy's thinking, so Michael, what I did was my business increases year over year, and over the next 2 years will increase by 50% or more. So I kind of modified it a little bit.
That's fine.
Does that sound all right?
Yep.
And the whole idea on these vision statements is they need to resonate with you. And again, back to the specific, or I'm sorry, the smarter goals. Each letter, is an acronym. So specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time bound, exciting, and risky. And the exciting, risky part is it gets the juices flowing. That's what we want, is we want there to be an emotion behind it. We want there to be a strong feeling behind it, like, man, that would just be awesome. And you get the tingles and the hair on your neck stands up, because that's just something that would be so awesome. So that's kind of what we're looking for, is we're looking for that emotion behind it. And rather than the opposite would be, that's really a stretch. I'm not sure if that's even possible. Yeah, it sounds great, but I'm not sure about that. We're not looking for that, right? And I understand, there's going to be doubt, there's going to be fear associated with that. So we don't want to introduce that. What we want to introduce is the fun, the excitement, the energy, right? That comes behind a statement. So, Jeremy, did that give you enough time to put together something?
Yes, thank you. You got my creative juices flowing.
All right, cool.
So I think my new mindset statement is going to be: the work I obtain is of sufficient value, stress-free, and always brings joy from it.
Cool. I like that. And value, what kind of value? Great value. Value for who? Yourself, for others?
Value in the sense of the value of the work I am providing, the value of the product I give, the value of the time I am giving to my clients. That just value in general is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm not tracking on that. So great value. So they're going to value the work that you provide to them? Or is it that you're going to get a lot of value from giving them that work? Or maybe it's both.
Both ways.
All
Both
right.
value from me and the client.
Brings me and others great value.
Thank you.
It is stress-free and brings me and others joy. Right?
Yep.
Okay. Excellent. How about Rachel? Is she available? Yep, there you
Yeah.
go. What would be your mindset, your vision statement for work?
Um,
What's the goal?
I mean, I think,
Our business.
yeah. Well, I don't know if this is working, but I mean, a goal of ours is just to be able to like move to a bigger house, like buy a house. So, you know, make enough money, save enough money to be able to do that.
So that would be money related versus specific to your job.
Oh, okay. Okay, so just for the job, my goal is to start work as a nurse again, in the capacity that will be different from last time because I've been a nurse for 12 years and I've always worked in hospitals and done patient care, and it's always been kind of stressful and like just really fast paced. So I'm hoping to just move into a role that's a little bit less stressful than that. And my stepdad, I guess you could call him, is a manager at Kaiser, in a capacity where he can, you know, pick and choose who he hires and has a lot of pull in his department. So we've talked about me working there, and that would be in a clinic, and it might be like part-time, so like 2 or 3 days a week, so I would still have time with the kids. And then on the other side, Michael wants to keep up the cleaning business, so we would organize our schedules to where, you know, I would work a couple days, then he would work a couple days, so that someone's always home with the kids. And yeah, I mean, hopefully to be positive about it, that would work out really well, and we would all, you know, it would be balanced between work and life, and we wouldn't feel like we're like working all the time and not, you know, spending time with the family. So yeah.
How does this statement resonate with you? Being a nurse in a position which is less stressful and able to work 2 to 3 days a week and be able to balance work and home life.
Yes. That's good.
Being a nurse in a position which is less stressful, working 2 to 3 days a week and have a life home balance. Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, cool. All right, so all of this is leading towards us creating a vision board, and after we're done finishing our list of friends, by the way, is going to be next week. So start working on your new mindset for friends. In fact, you should probably work on all of these: spouse, significant others, kids, and free time. So at the end of all of this, we're going to create a vision board. And if you're not already doing it now, the idea here is for you to look at your vision statement every single day, if not once, at least 3 times a day, because what you're doing is you're programming your reticular activating system. And as we've already discovered, once we start to set the intention for what we want with a very specific vision statement, then all of a sudden things are going to start to appear. They're going to start to show up, right? And just like the airplane illustration, that voice, it's going to speak to you. And you're going to have all these other voices out there that are going to say, nah, you can't do that. You know, you can't work just 2 to 3 days a week. You're going to hear all these other voices. But with the reticular activating system, that will go away. And then all of a sudden you'll start to see things appear that make that possible to work 2 to 3 days a week. That makes sense? But the idea is you have to get that program running. You have to remind yourself of what the vision statement is about what you want. Because up until this point, I know for me, for quite a while, life was just coming at me and it was just like whatever, right? It wasn't intentional. So we're setting the intention of what we want. And then the how and the when comes together. God brings that to us. All right. So please continue to work on what your vision statement is. And if the statement that we've done together here on Sunday morning doesn't work for you, change it, modify it, doesn't matter. It's setting the intention for what you want and setting that vision. And then in the next couple of weeks, we'll put together a vision board. And here's an example of my vision board. This is what I look at every day. And I have put this vision board together many, many years ago, 5, 6 years ago. Here's my vision statement for myself. Thank you for that business. Sorry, let me make a bigger screen so you guys can see it better. Thank you for my business is growing 25% year over year. Show me how best to manage this business. Thank you for my customers and the favor you have granted me in these accounts. Thank you that I have favor with my bosses, colleagues, and clients because you are with me and because your presence in my life. I know I cannot help but excel in my projects and assignments and that everything my hand touches prospers. So I know that's a big, big statement, right? But the visual I have here is this growth. So not only am I saying it verbally and I'm repeating it in my mind, but I'm also visualizing, that growth, boom, boom, boom. And I think I shared my health one the last time, and I actually had a picture of the body that I desire. So having a visual with you would be very helpful. All right, as we're putting our vision board together. Okay. So that's it for this morning. And again, if you guys can continue to work on this, next week we'll do the friend statement. What do we want from our friends? And then God will introduce and he'll bring people in our lives that fit that profile, if you will, of friends. Okay, so that's it for this morning. Questions, comments? All right.
I did want to add one more to my
Sure.
one if I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say creating a design for my new business truck is one I wanted to put in there for my business. Or no, the other one was creating my own cleaning supplies.
Okay.
Yep.
I have my own cleaning supply line.
Yep, that's what I want because that ties into the van and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's what I want to put.
Yeah. So also notice the tenses that I have, right? So we're coming from a statement of faith and belief that I already have it,
Right.
because we already do. It just hasn't shown up in
Right.
our lives yet, right? So I
Right.
have my own cleaning supply line versus I will create it. And in fact, one last statement I want to make as we're putting this together. The way the mind works is if you make a statement like, I will create my own cleaning supply line, and you say that every day for a year, and then in a year from now, what is that statement? I will create. It means that you haven't created it yet. If you think you should have it by a year from now, but your statement is I will create, it means that it hasn't been created yet, and that I will. So see how that it's the progression. Right. The progression is always in the future. It's always I will, it's going to come to me, versus I already have it.
Right.
Right? So when you look back in a year from now and you say, I have my own cleaning supply, then you can say, no, exactly right. I might not have it now, but I know I have my own cleaning supply. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, good catching up with you. Thank you for jumping on as always. And please continue to work on your vision statements as well as the 10 truths. So with that said, thanks again and have a good day, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.